Long ago, when the world was still young, there lived a man named Noah. He was not a king, not a warrior, not a wealthy merchant, just a simple man, a farmer, a father. But Noah had something rare, something precious, a good heart. While the world around him grew darker, Noah stayed true. While others chose cruelty, he chose kindness. While chaos spread like wildfire, Noah tended his garden, loved his family, and lived with honor. The Creator watched from above, and what he saw troubled him deeply. The earth had become a place of violence, greed, hatred. Brother turned against brother, the strong devoured the weak. Everywhere the Creator looked, he saw corruption. Everywhere, except one small farm on the edge of the world. There stood Noah, and the Creator smiled. One night, as Noah slept beneath a sky full of stars, something extraordinary happened. A voice, deep, thunderous, yet somehow gentle. It called his name, Noah. He woke with a start, his heart pounding, sweat on his brow. Noah, the voice came again, I have seen you, I have watched you, and I have chosen you. Noah fell to his knees. He knew this voice. It was the voice of the Creator himself. The world has turned away from goodness, the Creator said, and so I will cleanse it with water. A great flood is coming, a flood that will cover the earth from mountain peak to valley floor. Noah's blood ran cold. But you, Noah, you and your family will be saved. You will build something the world has never seen, an ark, a vessel so massive it will hold not just your family, but 2 of every creature that walks, crawls, flies, and swims. Noah's mind reeled. 2 of every animal. How could such a thing be possible? Build it from gopher wood, the Creator commanded. Make it 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. 3 decks, 1 door, 1 window. The instructions were precise, detailed, overwhelming. How long do I have? Noah whispered. 120 years, came the reply. 120 years. It seemed like forever, but Noah knew better. For a task this enormous, it would barely be enough. As dawn broke, Noah stood and looked at his empty fields. Somewhere in his mind he could already see it. The ark, towering, impossible, magnificent. He took a deep breath, and he began. The first tree fell with a thunderous crack. Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, stood beside him, axes in hand, determination in their eyes. "Father," said Shem, wiping sweat from his brow, "the people are watching." And they were. From the village, curious eyes peered out. Merchants passing by stopped to stare. Children pointed and laughed. "What is that old fool building?" they whispered. "A boat in the middle of nowhere, miles from any sea." Laughter erupted. Mockery rained down like stones. But Noah didn't stop. He couldn't. Every swing of the hammer was obedience. Every plank laid was faith. Years passed. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. The ark began to take shape. Its skeleton rose from the earth like the ribs of some ancient beast, massive, otherworldly. People came from distant lands just to see it. Some mocked, others were silent, unsettled by the sheer scale of Noah's conviction. "Why are you doing this?" a young woman once asked, her voice soft with genuine curiosity. Noah paused, hammer in hand. "Because a storm is coming. a flood that will cover everything, and this ark will be salvation. She looked at the cloudless sky, at the sun beating down mercilessly. There hasn't been rain in months, she said quietly, and walked away. Noah watched her go. Then he turned back to his work. 50 years, 70 years, 90 years. Noah's beard grew white. His hands became gnarled and scarred, but still he built. His wife worked beside him, weaving pitch to seal the wood. His sons hauled timber until their muscles burned. They worked in scorching heat, in bitter cold, through doubt and exhaustion. And finally, after 120 years of relentless labor, it was finished. The ark stood complete, a mountain of wood, a fortress against the coming storm. Noah stood before it, tears streaming down his weathered face. "It is done," he whispered. Then something miraculous began to happen. From the forests they came, from the mountains, from the deserts and the rivers and the plains, the animals. 2 by 2, as if drawn by an invisible thread, they journeyed toward the ark. Lions padded silently through the grass. Elephants thundered across the savanna. Giraffes stretched their long necks toward the sky. Birds filled the air in great fluttering clouds. Eagles and sparrows, parrots and owls. Snakes slithered. Beetles scurried. Frogs hopped in pairs. The people of the village emerged from their homes, mouths hanging open in disbelief. How is this possible?" they stammered. Noah stood at the entrance of the ark, guiding each pair inside, room by room, deck by deck. The great cats to one chamber, the hoofed animals to another, the birds to the upper levels where air and light could reach them. It took 7 days. 7 days of organized chaos, of roars and chirps and bellows, of wonder upon wonder. And when the last creature was aboard, 2 tiny field mice scurrying nervously into their appointed place, Noah turned to the crowd that had gathered. His eyes were sad but resolute. "It's not too late," he called out. "There is room. Come aboard. Save yourselves." Silence. Then someone laughed, a cruel, mocking sound. "Save ourselves from what, old man? From the sun?" Others joined in. The laughter grew. Noah's heart broke, but he had done all he could. He gathered his wife, his sons, and their wives, 8 souls in total, and they entered the ark. Behind them, the great door swung shut, not by Noah's hand, but by the hand of the Creator himself. The laughter outside faded to uneasy silence. For 7 days, nothing happened. Inside the ark, Noah and his family waited in the dimness, surrounded by the sounds of restless animals. Outside, the villagers began to drift away, shaking their heads, returning to their lives. "Just as we thought," they muttered, "nothing but the ravings of a madman." But on the 7th day, a drop, one single drop of water fell from the sky, then another, and another. Within moments the heavens opened. Rain, not a gentle shower, but a deluge. Water poured from the sky as if the clouds themselves had shattered. And then from deep beneath the earth, the fountains of the great deep burst forth. Water exploded upward from cracks in the ground, geysers of unimaginable power. The villagers screamed, they ran, they pounded on the door of the ark. "Noah! Noah, please, let us in!" But the door would not open. It had been sealed by a power far greater than any man. Inside, Noah wept.
His family wept with him. They could hear the cries, the terror, the realization that came too late. The rain fell for 40 days and 40 nights. The waters rose and rose and rose. Fields disappeared, villages vanished, hills became islands, then disappeared beneath the churning waves. Mountains, great towering peaks that had stood since the beginning of time, were swallowed by the flood. The entire earth became an endless rolling ocean, and in the midst of it all, one vessel remained, the ark. It rocked gently on the waters, held safe in the Creator's hand. Inside, Noah cared for the animals, fed them, comforted them, cleaned their pens. It was exhausting, relentless work, but they were alive. Days became weeks, weeks became months. The rain stopped, but the waters remained, covering everything, everywhere. How long would this last, Noah wondered. When would they see land again? 5 months passed. Then one morning there was a sound, a soft, grinding scrape. The ark had come to rest. Noah rushed to the window. In the distance, through the mist, he could see it, the peak of a mountain, Mount Ararat. Hope flickered in his chest like a newborn flame. But the waters were still too high, too dangerous. Noah waited. 40 more days passed. Then he opened the window and released a raven. The blackbird soared out into the gray sky, circling, searching, but it found nowhere to land. It returned. 7 days later, Noah tried again. This time he sent a dove. The dove disappeared into the mist. Noah's heart pounded as he waited. Hours passed. Then, just before sunset, a flutter of wings. The dove returned, but in its beak, an olive leaf, fresh, green, alive. Noah laughed. He actually laughed, a sound of pure joy. The waters were receding. Life was returning to the earth. 7 more days. He sent the dove out again. This time it did not return. It had found a home. "It's time," Noah whispered. The door of the ark opened. Sunlight, glorious golden sunlight, poured in. Noah stepped out onto solid ground. His legs trembled. It had been over a year since he'd felt earth beneath his feet. His family followed, and then, in a great joyful stampede, the animals emerged. Lions bounded into the grass. Birds exploded into the sky in a symphony of color and song. Deer leaped. Rabbits scattered. Butterflies danced on the breeze. The earth was washed clean, fresh, new. Noah fell to his knees and wept, not from sorrow, but from overwhelming gratitude. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you." And then he looked up. There, arcing across the sky in brilliant bands of color, was something the world had never seen, a rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. It stretched from horizon to horizon, a bridge of light connecting heaven and earth. The Creator's voice came one last time, gentle as a summer wind. "This is my promise, Noah. Never again will I destroy the earth with a flood. The rainbow is my covenant, a sign to you and to all generations that will come after. When the rains fall and the rainbow appears, remember, I am with you, always." Noah's heart swelled. He built an altar there on the side of the mountain. He gave thanks with his whole being. And as the sun set on that first day of the new world, Noah looked out at the vast, empty earth. It was a blank canvas, a second chance, and from his family would come nations, peoples, cultures, stories. The world would be filled again, but this time it would remember. Remember the flood. Remember the ark. Remember the man who listened when heaven spoke. The story of Noah's Ark has traveled across centuries and continents. It has been told in 1,000 languages, painted on cave walls and cathedral ceilings, whispered to children before sleep. Why? Because it reminds us of something profound, that faith requires action, that obedience can look like foolishness until the rain begins to fall, that one person standing firm in a world gone mad can change everything. Noah was not a superhero. He had no special powers, no magic, no army. He simply listened and obeyed and built, one plank at a time, one day at a time. And when the storm came, his faithfulness became his family's salvation, became the world's salvation. So when you see a rainbow stretched across the sky after a storm, remember Noah. Remember the old man who built an impossible boat. Remember that sometimes the most incredible journeys begin with a single act of faith. And remember, even in the darkest floods, hope floats.